All right. I cannot see.
And we are live.
Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 nerds, by nerds, hang out with a bunch of nerds. What's going on?
Nerdarchy is Ted.
Nate the Nerdarch.
Ericus Ryan here in his house in Ted's hip basement.
I can only see that we got one person in the chat. We might as well go home, guys.
Oh man.
Hey, what's up? What is it? Joshua Rang?
Just around.
What's good?
Hey,
We got 2 likes though.
Yeah,
That's
it's
nice.
one of them is us.
how you doing, Josh? Had fun last night.
That's the guy in
Yeah, that was the guy in the game last night that I ran.
And you managed to not slay the party, right?
And I managed to not slay the party.
I am disappointed in you, Ted. Disappointed.
It sounded like he tried.
Well, here's the thing, right? When I had sent out there's a fan game going on with Ted, I had said, hey, come root for the players or the monsters if you like.
Go Team Kraken!
Yeah. So, although it'd be a weird place for a Kraken to show up.
Yeah, the mountain peaks in the Arctic. The Krakens, they don't really go well
You could
together.
have a snow Kraken.
Those mountain Krakens.
Yeah.
So people are starting to pop in. Nice. Gillifrey, I missed all your numbers. I want the coordinates back. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, they just start making up numbers. It doesn't.
That's true.
We got a Debilla Aw or a D Bill Aw, I guess. We got
Garuda, Nick.
Nick Long.
Voltaire's Wind.
There we go.
So,
Nice going, Voltaire.
So the question is, are you guys all recovered from the cruise?
I'd still like to be on the cruise.
Yeah.
Getting back to the real world.
So yeah, I definitely I came to the realization that it was definitely more of an adult-oriented experience. I don't really think there was that much content or programming that was geared towards you'd have to at least be a teen or older, I think, to have the most fun out of the whole experience.
Well, actually, there was a whole regiment for kids and teens.
Oh yeah.
That you would not be privy to because they hand the sheets to them as you get on.
Yeah.
And I kept yelling at kids you got all this stuff. Why don't you go do it?
I thought it was amusing at one point in time. We're exploring the ship early on, and it's oh, let's go check out the arcade room. And we walk in, and there's a monitor in there. It's sorry guys, this is a teen hour. You got to come back later.
Yeah, they saw Ted. They're like, nope, not this guy.
I think you got age discriminated against.
Yeah. That's true. No, you could be look, I'm trans ageist. Inside, I feel like an 11-year-old.
Yeah, I still play games, so of course.
Gallifrey, don't even worry about work. Work's for suckers. Just skip it.
Yeah, they won't mind.
They won't mind at all. Being broke is even more for suckers.
That's true.
Unfortunately,
it's true. It's true.
So speaking of the fantasy cruise, we've been kind of in talks with the people,
the promoter,
and we want you guys to reach out to them and tweet at them, email them, whatever have you. We want to do
message them on Facebook.
We want to do a Nerdarchy panel, and if you guys say, "Hey, we want Nerdarchy there," maybe we can make that happen.
Nerdarchy wants to do a panel and make fantasy pay for
it. Honestly, though, too, the thing is, would that be an incentive for you guys to do an event like that? Would you be more interested in knowing that Nerdarchy's running games and doing panels and have a much more active role in it? I know the fans that went with us, Olivia, Matthew, and Jordan had an awesome time.
Alex definitely seemed like he was.
Well, I meant the ones that we actually gave the cabin to.
Yeah, right.
But those guys had Alex as well. But they all had an awesome time, and they want to do it again. And I think the mans are pretty much sold on coming back next year as well. They're we'll definitely pay to hang out in Nerdarchy and do this again. We have to once again acknowledge Armada Games because they were really awesome even after we blew up their equipment.
Yeah, out in Tampa, Florida. So if you're in the Tampa area,
they're in Tampa.
Yeah, definitely worth a check out. Their retail space is just so, but it's funny. Their gaming space is almost double the size of the retail space. They have a nice orchestrated or organized retail space. Uh-huh. But then again, gaming, it seems like it's focused on actually being able to game there, which is really cool.
Yeah, you guys had made a foray to the Armada Game store. They actually opened up early to let you guys in, right?
Yeah, they weren't supposed to open on Monday until 3, and Nate had said, "Look, I want to get a copy of the game. I don't have the cash to pay for it. Am I able to swing by your shop and pick it up en route to home?" They're like, "Sure, just knock on the door. They'll be there doing inventory." And they'll let you in.
Nate just that's not really what happened at all. Nate just showed up and he booted the door open and it's Nerdarchy bitches, and they're like, "Oh, come in."
Kick in the door.
maybe it didn't happen that way.
Yeah, and due to the equipment explosion, I gained some XP running around Key West, so
Yeah.
it was an interesting experience.
Yeah. So we blew out a one of our new light bulbs, but fortunately the light box itself is
The
safe.
fixture is good.
Yeah. That was definitely a concern, and we totally trashed one of their
Power strips.
power strips, and we almost killed Ted.
I survived. The wife said, "Oh darn."
Yeah.
Just
We would have
little lightning shock. That's all.
We would have created Unted and
Yeah,
the living Ted.
we're like, we can resurrect Ted, or we can bring him back as a zombie Ted. Zombie Ted sounds hilarious.
What do you guys think wins, Zombie Ted or Resurrected Ted?
Yeah, vote down in the live chat or to the side, the live chat. Zombie Ted or resurrected Ted.
Well, depending upon which way you want to go, Zombie Ted is going to do less puns. So.
Oh no, we'll supply the puns for you. Don't worry.
Yeah. And then we'll just
you'll
like
be
move your
Ted,
we'll just
so,
move your jaw.
Yeah. Or perhaps a Ted brain in the jar, Ted.
Ooh.
That would be fun too.
I can go for a brain in a jar.
We can set him right on the table.
Yeah, we probably have to mic him because I don't think brains have much of a projection.
You've got to draw a beard and glasses on the jar though.
Yeah, we can't have you out.
We're definitely getting votes for Zombie and Lich.
Oh,
We did get
Lich.
one resurrected.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got 2 resurrected.
From Prupra.
Sacrifices must be made.
We've got a lot of undead looking things here. Ted Lich, 2 votes for Ted Lich.
Yeah,
I don't want to be a
They're
Lich.
trying to elevate you from zombie, though.
Yeah, that's true. It's pretty high status, man.
Techno Lich.
Oh, Techno Lich.
Was there a vote for a Techno Lich?
Well, I mean,
That's Nate's.
Nate's vote was Techno
it's
Lich.
present day, man. It's the current year.
We'll give him some psionic circuitry from old AD&D. I don't know if they had that in 3rd edition or not.
No.
Yeah.
But that would definitely that would be fun. So this coming week, we actually put up our first video with our experiences with Adventure League, or I should say Ted's experiences with Adventure League. The other thing is, maybe some of you guys noticed, but Ted ran the fan game last night. If you didn't catch it, you can go catch it. All the links are in the description below. And this weekend, we also started reposting gameplays from our table. I know it's been like 6 months or something since the last one.
It's not been 6 months.
Yeah,
Feels like it.
we
4
had
years.
like one queued up, but the cruiser's coming up, so Dave couldn't do anything with the rendering. Like, there's some stuff that has to happen between having the video and the video going up.
There's more work involved between hitting record and hitting post.
Yeah.
You know what? So we definitely got Reverend to vote, make you a Reverend.
A Revenant. Wow.
Revenant?
I think it's supposed to be a Reverend.
Revenant.
Revenant, but it's spelled
Reverend. Yeah.
it's spelled wrong.
Reverend.
Yeah. There's a vote for that, but also a Banshee. But I think for that you're gonna need a race and sex change to become a Banshee. We could probably make this happen somehow.
Draco Lich, Death Knight.
So what I'm saying is we've got like 4 or 5 weeks of gameplays queued up, and we're gonna play another game tonight. So that's another week. Yeah. So my game is this weekend. The first one's already out there. This part 2 will be out there tomorrow morning. And then I think we have a game for you. We have the game you ran on the ship. We also have the game that I ran for the fans.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Yeah,
in Tampa.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna have the Gamma World game as well
that we're playing tonight. So like for the next beyond this weekend, the next 5 weekends, you guys are gonna get gameplays, and then we're gonna also be playing games as normal. So that's going to push it out and leave it a little further until we finally kind of like build them. Over the next 5 weeks, we're going to have another fan game that one of us is going to run. So,
there's that as well.
Yeah, so it's not like the normal weekend content, but
right? Yeah,
more.
But
so we should have gameplays pretty well in hand for a while.
Stocked, if you will.
Yeah, stocked, locked, and locked.
Although the only thing with the fan games is they kind of like go out live,
yeah,
so it's not quite the same where there's that lag and it has to be prepped and it has to go out. So
correct,
because we've been we stay on track with those. In some ways, it's a lot easier. So that being said, you guys will get gameplays for a while. I know some of you guys are into it, some of you guys don't care, but either way, they will be there.
Like it or not, they're there for you.
If you're into them, be on the lookout. They're coming.
If you're into it, yeah. Oh, so another fantastic thing that happened on Fantasy was I got to play Codenames with what I later realized was a bunch of the nerdy burlesque dancers. So I was like, this is a table full of attractive women. I wonder what this deal is. And I found out, it's because they do burlesque and cosplay. kind of the
And
two go
two
hand in
of-
hand.
yeah, two of them-
Nerdlesk is what-
Nerdlesk is what
Yeah,
they're
the
called.
two of them I was familiar with before the cruise. Stella Chu and what is it? It's like Anastasia, but that's not it.
Yeah.
Quite. And I actually was able to catch the one show. They put on a great show, so that was really cool. Unfortunately, we can't share that much of that content with you guys. It's a little beyond the PG-13 scope we usually shoot for. Damn it! I did share one picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, before the clothes started
that
coming
was
off.
that was the Deadpool one, right?
Yeah, the Deadpool one, the Lady Deadpool.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
also, if you guys are following us on the Facebook page, you've seen like the different things that have been going up throughout the week, and there's probably weeks worth of pictures and content that's just gonna keep getting trickled out there.
Yeah, we might even put together like a nerdy slideshow of how I spent my fantasy vacation. We might orchestrate that. So if you're interested in that, please put that in the comments below. Yeah, we can just put the Nerdarchy theme music on loop and have some pictures scroll by.
Nice.
And like I said, we're kind of like in negotiations with the fantasy owner and trying to get more Nerdarchy into the next year, and by extension more gaming as well. Although there was a decent amount of gaming that went on. They were running at least 2 sessions a day, right? Is that what it was?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday was 2 sessions a day of D&D
With Adventure League.
with Armada
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
It was all Adventure League. Then of course Sunday in between the 2 sessions, yours truly ran a game, which was essentially half fan base, half people that we kind of met elsewhere. So it was kind of cool.
Nice. Kyle S says he's got to make a dummy Facebook account to get access to the content. Actually, one of these days, we're actually going to start having Kyle S come over and intern for us.
Kyle was in the game last night as well.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And Alan, too. I haven't seen him around in a while.
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
That was cool.
Static image of just his lizard folk, but he was in.
Nice. So I'll also be syndicating some of the stuff to Instagram as well, some of the cruise pics. So if you're not on the Facebooks, the Facewebs, Instagram would be another place to come check it out.
So apparently, Blue Sabbath here. Hey guys, Blue Sabbath here. We played in Tampa. Hope you guys enjoyed your cruise. We absolutely did enjoy the cruise, but I still don't know which one you are. I know you're not Gallifrey because I know who that is.
Yeah.
Well, and Adam, we know who.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know who Adam is. So we can process an elimination. I think Jose actually uses his own name as part of his username, so I don't think it's him either. So
Yeah, and then there was Joe or Joseph he goes by.
yeah.
Joe.
There's Joey and Joey's friend that came with him.
Yeah, for the life of me.
I'm not remembering the name. Damn it!
Curses.
At least I didn't forget it while we were there talking to him.
Yeah.
Thomas, that's
there
it.
you go. He's confirming. He confirmed.
Yeah,
Leave
yeah,
the
yeah.
information. It's been confirmed. Confirmed.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really cool. What else have we got, guys? What's going on? What do we need to go over? So,
All right, the agenda.
As always, we have a thank you page, and for all of the different businesses and local gaming shops that have supported us in one way, shape, or form, there's a thank you page over on the website. Please go check it out. If you happen to be in the area that any of those places happen to be, please give them patronage. They're awesome.
also, not just businesses and stuff like this, but we also put our end credits people. They get a mention over there as well because we appreciate all you guys.
Indeed, we do.
And as always, we want to thank our patrons.
Yep. Thank you guys. And there's somebody that emailed me that I spelled their name on the thank you end credits. So the next revision I do, I will make a point of going and fixing that.
And for those of you who are our patrons, and we wanted to let you know what the rewards are. We've got for Mage Forge, we have charged items, which is an interesting kind of magic item that's not a magic item that requires like input from the user. And then for the
It needs a patch though. You gotta get the latest patch on it.
updated, and all that kind of stuff. So for Monster Menagerie, we have the Shocktopus. For
Closely related to the rock.
a friend or foe, we have the Nightly Nag.
I love the Shocktopus. Nate and I were discussing a lot of stuff on the long drive from Jersey to Florida.
Now,
Yes.
if you were doing a James Bond version, would it be like Shock the Pussy?
Could very well be that. And for Terrible Terrain, we have the Cult of the Outsider. And for Lost Lore, we have the Sorceress Archetype, the Blood Mage.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun to create.
It sounds messy.
Well, you know,
like,
depends on
you're
what-
nobody wants to fight you because you're just bleeding on the ball of your orifice.
So gross.
So today's
Kobolds
the
are like, what the fuck, man?
today's the 28th. You only have a few more days to get in on the Patreon before this stuff
Goes live.
vanishes into the ether and we send it out. So
So I did put a thing like when you become a patron, the goal is to get the Patreon rewards out to people by the 10th of the next month. So it's like, I think it's the 10th. Basically, there's an automated email that you get. It tells you like, hey, if you haven't gotten the thing by this date and time, please make some noise about it, and we'll make sure to get it to you.
Yeah, there's always like this delay that happens where the funds from Patreon transfer over to us, and then like a couple days later, there's always
a
like
little bit more.
there's stragglers that come along. So it's one of the reasons why we wait at least a week beforehand.
Yeah, it's usually related to somebody has an issue with their card. And
I don't
they
think
try
so.
To, no?
I think it has more to do with just the way the billing cycles work for different companies, or whatever,
okay.
and credit cards, and I don't know, foreign
So,
countries.
I
And
know
stuff.
I know when I did it last month, it was like the 5th or 6th that I wound up sending it out. And you can always message us through Patreon or nerdarchy@gmail.com if you're wind up having an issue or you didn't get something.
Yeah, and one other little Patreon thing is like, especially as a viewer, like you always feel free to put suggestions for videos or GM ones or whatever. But if you happen to mention that you're a Patreon supporter, like you do kind of get bumped to the front of the line because like you were in a more active way supporting us, being able to make stuff, and by way of appreciation. If your stuff's going to be good content for the viewership as a whole, then we'll be able to be kind of moving that forward to satisfy a Patreon supporter.
Yeah, just message us actually through the Patreon system. That's actually the best way.
Yeah, there you go.
Also, I wanted to thank all you guys that have been using our links for Easy Roller Dice, Amazon, Drive Through RPG. We got a handful of them. A couple, quite a few orders from our Spreadshirt have come through, our merchandise. Thanks, guys. We appreciate all of that.
Thank you.
It's very helpful. It helps us when we do things like blow up Armada games as Power Strip or blow out light bulbs and stuff like that. We have to get new ones, and we're always trying to upgrade things.
Yeah, Joe was wearing his Roller Pair shirt in the game last night.
Oh, nice.
That's
Excellent.
fantastic. Yeah.
I'm always surprised that one. Like, that's one of the favorite ones that we've done. I'm surprised that one had.
Yeah, it totally works
better.
with the advantage-disadvantage mechanic, but like the design didn't go over. I mean, like sexual innuendo on gaming shirts, like that's not a foreign concept. That exists.
So I believe it was Thomas that asked us, how would you role play a Deep Gnome Bard? And actually, Ted did play one, but Ted played it wrong anyway because you have to snap your fingers a lot and be like, groovy man.
That's more like a Deep Gnome music appreciationist.
He was a College of Valor, and his school was more into.
Yeah, you need
combat.
College of Beatnik. That's where it's really at.
Beat them with Beatnik.
There's actually a few questions coming on game related. Anyone want to field that how you would role play a Deep Gnome? I mean, it's kind of stereotyping when you put it that way, but a Deep Gnome Bard.
Well, I guess I'll give an example from something I've done as a dwarf and kind of related it across.
Yeah,
So-
because they're the more dour of gnomes, so it makes a lot of sense.
So I had a dwarf that was a bard and was Valor, and what I ended up doing was there's this thing I called it the singing anvil, but basically it's a special type of instrument that's just kind of like a domed piece of metal with different points on it that you hit with
Steel drums.
No, it's a domed piece of metal, and it's like a flying saucer, a musical instrument.
Upside down steel drums.
Yeah, so it's like two steel drums hugging each other very closely. But anyway,
Steel turtle drums.
so I called it the singing anvil. So you give it a cool name that sounds like it should be dwarf. So in this case, think of what would be a gnome. Like, would it be some kind of mechanical thing? Would there be an apparatus to it? Would it be kind of like bagpipey with?
Totally an accordion.
Hurdy-gurdy.
accordion.
Well, there's the hurdy-gurdy. You could do a variation of that where you like crank it and kind of do something. It's like a weird cranking accordion type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it just does some kind of like haunting accompaniment to that.
Well, really, as you said, Deep Gnome is a dour, and so many people attribute bard to musical instrument. And while they do get access to musical instruments by being a bard, anything that you could consider entertaining can be your performance. So, all right, yeah, I have a background in music education. Yeah. But you know what? I'm going to be a dancer. I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to flag twirl, fire breathe. You can go in
Orator, be an orator.
Absolutely.
Maybe he tells the story of the Deep Gnome's play through interpreted dance.
Or legendary battles that they've had, and stands that they've had. And
so
fights.
I would say as a Deep Gnome being dour, I would totally go College of Lore, and I would be a historian, and you could orate the histories and be like passionate about the things that have happened to this race and focus on not only the bad but the good, or vice versa.
Yeah, I think chanting would be really appropriate for a Deep Gnome bard as well, because they're minors, or even any kind of music that they would do without instruments. I feel like would be good for them as well.
You could also do something with like a pick or something up against a piece of stone or some hard surface or whatever. Like think about like chain gangs and stuff like that. Like there'd be like rhythmic songs. Like they have a background in mining, right? So you could do something. I mean, any race that would have like a mining sort of thing going on, they could have like cadence songs or whatever that are like, it's usually used for work, but maybe it could be like a war chant as opposed to that.
Yeah, that could have several different purposes. It could be at certain tempo or certain what's that called? Beat, whatever. It's not music, not musically inclined. You could have it be something like either like pushing the cart. This is what the song we sing when we're pushing the cart, or when we're all striking the same area to move through a different part of a mine. So, and then you can have the like drumming up for war and getting ready to charge somebody. So that could all be kind of a similar song. So it'd be kind of like within the culture, everybody kind of understands and knows that. So it's like an instant reference. So however fast it's going is what you like suggest doing through the music.
Yeah, like I pretty much I usually consider what I want the hook for the bard to be, and that's kind of a consideration regardless of class. Like, what do I want the vehicle for this character's bardic capabilities to be, and then like maybe the way that sort of plays out for that specific character it might be determined by the race or racial or cultural aspects of that character's race.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like the fun part with playing a character like that is, as long as your DM is open to it and your players are open to it, is you get to define a little piece of the world.
Yeah.
If you go with, this is kind of how my people are, so that part could be fun. One of the things I wanted to bring up, it's not so much a question, but Haywood Vapes Reviews, thanks for all you do. You're quite welcome. It's made my wife and I game together. Thank you. Awesome. We need more ladies gaming. We need more.
The families that
together.
slays together stays together.
There you go. And vaping, it's much better than smoking. Only 6 million carcinogens,
as opposed to hundreds.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hey, good luck with your battle against big tobacco.
The man
trying to hold you down.
Smoking man.
So Darcy Ska, how would you deal with a player who has chosen a noble/good character and story, but keeps wanting to do stuff like skinning animals for clothing and getting one just drunk? Well, I mean, there's
nothing's inherently evil about either of those things.
There's the idea of, sometimes you only are good because you're kind of like put in that social structure. And once that social structure is released, you kind of go crazy. It's like the whole college experience. Some people don't follow the rules set down by their parents when they go to college. They're just like, woohoo, I'm free. I don't need to go to class and I'll party all weekend.
Well, not even look at that. Look at the founding fathers of the nation, right? Or sort of the framers of the Constitution. They're all lionized by history, but some of them did some shitty things, right? No individual is perfect. Like Franklin was a friggin' womanizer that, like, when he went to Paris, he was banging all kinds of French chicks. Like, so, like, Franklin did a lot of great things. Was a great man, but also had his shitty foibles too.
So I would say in regards to skinning animals to make clothes, that's normal. That's very normal for a D&D-esque world. Now, in current society, some people have a big issue with that, but that's how you got leather. That's how you got certain types of clothing. So I wouldn't see anything about that.
I think they're looking at it from the standpoint of they're a noble that can buy clothing. Why would you make something like that? And I would think that it's kind of like they're just LARPing adventurers right now. Like, I'm pretending that I'm doing survival. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll cut down this tree, guys. I'm a lumberjack.
Yeah, oh, I mean, it depends whether they have the skills to do it and stuff like that. From an RP standpoint, it is more interesting if the noble like tries to hire somebody else in the party to do it or something
Yeah.
like that. Play the Thurston How, but just because somebody is of a noble birth doesn't mean that they didn't learn any of these sort of like outdoorsy, like, you know, look at Teddy Roosevelt. Like, he was a kind of a known like gamesman and things like that. He came from a political family, but he still had these sort of outdoorsman like tendency, hunting bears and shit like that. So
Yeah. And if a noble person is down with the whole kind of, they're used to being competent in the cities and in towns and stuff like that. So when you take them out of that situation, they're still going to want to try and look competent. So they're going to try and do things that seem appropriate for the setting. So if they're off adventuring, you know, that's they're going to try and do adventurous stuff.
And as far as the wenching goes, like, that's kind of a pretty staple for a norm, pretty norm for a noble.
So we have the Bard thing is rolling. So Nicole asked, so with the Bard, how would you feel about Bard skilled in comedy? Well, I mean, it's recorded back to the Greeks and, well, jesters as well, as far as, you know, comedy being a thing. You know, even more so, like, if you want to diverse the jester from it, but actual just comedy and jokes and things like that, they've been around for as long as people have been around. So it's definitely doable.
So, all right here, you know, college comedy. It should be a whole archetype.
It could be, yeah. And again, you could even just use the jester one and kind of reskin it, or you could even
actually
use one of the other
Valor.
ones.
You could use Valor because it's like, instead of being like inspiring, it's just like annoying and distracting type of stuff. Like, what's the deal with these half-orcs? They're neither orc nor a human. I don't get it.
Kind of comedic limericks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're.
They're all dirty. All dirty all the time.
So while these guys are looking for more questions, I'm going to throw this out there. Next weekend, when we do our next Q&A or Quests and Adventures, yours truly is not going to be here.
Oh no, frig! What are we going to do? We're just not gonna
I'm actually going to be at the convention Glimmerdark, which is in central to North Jersey. So if you happen to be going or want to go, yours truly will indeed be there. So be on the lookout for Nerdarchy Ted.
So someone asked Ed Fleming, how would you D&Dize Trump? Now, I will say we try to stay pretty much non-political here. Yeah.
But Oath of the Crown, but his pact or his oath is to Trump.
It might be. Or it could be a warlock of Trump.
Yeah.
No, actually, Chris Perkins, shots fired on one of the last Asian voices. I just shared it, I think, this morning. You guys can go check it out. And definitely some shots fired there, and they get a little political.
Did they D&Dize Trump?
They did not D&Dize. It was actually about the blood war. You know, is that still going on? Someone had asked, and of course, it's evil, so they're always warring, you know. But then they elaborate more. If you want to know, you can go to Nerdarchy at Facebook.com and find out for yourself.
So I did find it hilarious, like when they were doing the Magic the Gathering cards for Trump and for Bernie Sanders and things like that. I thought those were friggin' hysterical.
Oh, yeah, that stuff is fun.
Yeah, it was golden.
Chirp. There's plenty of questions. Like the
It
thing
goes
is
so fast.
yeah.
So one of the things that we are gonna mention too is like, hey, if you happen to be one of our winners of our monthly giveaways, we'll mention it here. We'll mention it further on. But once you get stuff, if you want to like take pictures and like, you know, tweet us across social media stuff, that would be fantastic. Like Instagram, Twitter, you could, on Facebook.
You can hashtag us as well as the company that sent it out.
Well, at is important, and hashtag like, you know, like a relevant hashtag or two would be super helpful as well. But yeah, that would be really cool. But at mentioning us, like at Nerdarchy, and maybe the company that gave it to us to give to you, this way it gives them a little bit of promotion. You know, it's a good thing. A rising tide lifts all boats sort of situation.
So Matt O'Connor, how do you guys feel about angelic patrons for warlocks? Would you keep it as a warlock or make it a new class? Now, we actually did a video kind of about having good packs, you know, good patrons for your warlock. We did it a while ago. It was before the new set. And I don't know if it was all four of us, if it was three of us, but we definitely covered it. And I would absolutely say keep it warlock. You could definitely do that. And if you wanted some inspiration, there's not a lot there, but if you go to Volo's Guide to Monsters and go to the Azamar section, they actually have like the angelic traits for your not your guardian, but your
patron angel or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It is kind of like a
use
guardian
that.
angel, but yeah, it's its own thing. So, and also too, like I feel like the one that right off the bat works the most is without having to do anything, just the reskin of the Fate Pact, because like the thing with like the presence or whatever that you get from that capability, like that could just be like your angelic sort of like you channeling that energy.
Yep.
So Kyle has answered. It's a dagger tattoo. I have a dagger tattoo. I don't know if that.
There's a lot
that's
of
related.
you're a dwarf discussion going on,
Oh.
and they're talking about the tattoos.
Yeah.
Dave's got a bunch.
I got a few. Most of them.
They
are,
say you play
are covered.
human on the internet.
Oh, I play. Yeah. You caught me.
He's
This
trans dwarven.
I am. Gaming is life, no doubt. What are we building? I'm building a campaign. How would you build or run an NPC? Arachnomancer.
Just have that's gonna gross out so many PCs.
What the yeah.
Man, you're just getting creepy crawly spiders all on me, all over.
I made an Arachnomancer that you guys fought.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
Were you there? No,
you know,
they might not even been there.
There's some stuff in 3.5 about creepy crawly druids and stuff. Or Pathfinder. I know. I've read stuff.
No, it's in 3.5.
It's in
I mean,
3.5.
I'm sure there's a ton in Pathfinder as well. You could probably just steal from there.
You
Get
can,
the general flavor.
you can also just do things like reflavor certain spells.
And then there's obvious things like web.
Yeah, taking stuff like that. But if you want a Misty Step by turning into a whole bunch of spiders disappearing into the shadows and then reappearing someplace,
Reemerging, yeah.
that's just all description. So it doesn't change the effect of the spell. So you just flavor everything with sprinkle spiders all over everything.
Someone wanted to know how do you guys make so? Well, it's Albert Ramirez Balbons. How do you guys make so many videos? We sacrificed our firstborns.
Yeah.
We never stop working.
Yeah,
It's like making the
time.
donuts.
Yeah.
There's always the time.
Yeah. It's like it's batch recording. So basically, 1 to 2 sessions, usually 2 sessions of a bunch of videos at once. Yeah, exactly. And then just sprinkling them throughout the week. So we try to shoot, what is it, like probably close to 12, 14 videos a week.
Yeah, something like that. Me and Ted, before we went to the fantasy cruise, me and Ted have actually been seeing an extra day, so we can build up a little bit of a backlog. So what we decided was, when things go wrong and we only get to record once a week, it really makes us hate life.
Yeah, because we have to shoot like 10 videos in one sitting.
By the end of it, Nerdarchy are at each other's throats.
Yeah.
Someone's in a headlock. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, because we had somebody, so we did make the decision to take drinks off the table, but somebody, like, we had a ball buster out there in the comment section, because it's really hard to do in the comment section of YouTube. But basically it was saying, like, I can't understand why they have drinks on the table. It looks unprofessional, like they're only doing 15 minutes at a time or something. But no, like, we're doing like 8 sessions of 15 and 20 minutes.
We're doing like 4 hours at a time.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be quite lengthy.
And there's also the whole fact that in order to be able to do this, like, we've got lights pouring in at us as well, and that ramps up the heat factor, which makes you thirsty.
And then all these beards, like, man, it just gets so steamy.
Yeah,
around
the
here.
beards.
I mean, my word.
We got some fat guys on the screen.
Oh, baby.
It gets hot. It gets hot fast. Someone had asked about how do we organize house rules and our campaigns, something along those lines. Unfortunately, we are horrible. We don't organize anything.
Yeah, one of these days we have to do like a campaign world Bible. We have on the horizon doing a mapping video so we can actually map our world. Because here's the thing, between the 4 of us, there's no fucking consistent picture of where things are located in our world. So like we could all 4 of us would draw a map, and every last goddamn map is going to be different.
Yep.
So at some point we need to remedy.
So I was told that there was somebody out there who was interested in drawing a map for us.
Yes.
We were contacted.
Yes, I have to talk with them through Reddit some more.
Yeah,
I don't remember the name, but
there was that. I think we even got an email, and it's not that we're not interested. It's like figure out the time for things. And right now too, there's several people. The RPG Your Life guy, he wants us to do an interview with him. I definitely want to sit down with him because his webcomics are hilarious. They're awesome. And there's so many. Christopher from Nord Games wants to get together with us. There's so many people.
Yeah, people
and
from
of course we have to arrange, our Nine of the Nag hangouts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we have some Cobalt Press stuff on the horizon as well.
Yes.
So with those guys, so at least like 3 of the people were offered up that we could do interviews with them, which it's cool to get the perspective of people, industry people that are actually producing content for 5th edition.
Ty's article this past week joked about us keeping our writers hostage in Ted's basement. I think it's the other way around. I think we're trapped in the basement to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So would you guys do ZZ Top and shave your beards for Patreon donation? We absolutely would. We're completely mercenary, but it would be a really big one.
Yeah.
And then we just go right back to growing them again.
Yeah, we would try to grow them at like 2x speed.
You guys would look at our faces and be like, "Oh my God, put them back."
Who the heck are those guys?
Do you guys have any DM tips? Is there anything that would be smart to do? Should I do my own thing? Do we have any DM tips?
We have a whole channel on DM tips.
Well, yeah.
Well, a whole playlist.
Whole playlist.
Playlist.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
There is a lot of videos in that playlist. You have to be more specific. Should I do my own thing? We always think you should do your own thing. Whatever's fun.
Yeah, but if you're talking about doing a campaign that's already written or doing a homebrew, sometimes it's just easier for the first thing if you can just think up on the fly really well than just do your own.
Oh, this is perfect.
Whose question is this?
You might as well ask the beards to shave off the people.
Yeah, so our videos just get done by beards. That would be hysterical.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, we need to create beard golems.
Yeah, Ember Shade and Keeper, we excuse your tardiness.
Yeah.
You're forgiven. You actually show up for a lot of these, and we changed the time. So that's the other thing. The 12 o'clock window is nice, but sometimes it's just hard for us to make that. So, but we want to do these on Saturday at some point. So it's probably going to be from noon to 2 is the window. Just sit by your computer and wait.
And if you're an adventurer, you dive through the window without even looking first. Hopefully there's not a sphere of annihilation on the other side.
$100, please. $100. I'm not even getting out of bed.
We barely turn on the Google Hangout for the
No, we do turn on the Google Hangout for that. Sure.
For $100, what we will do is give you close-ups once a month of the beard.
Dave will consider trimming the beard.
But listen, guys, right? My wife doesn't particularly care for the beard, and one of the reasons why I color it is because it makes it more tolerable to her. And I haven't shaved it for her, and she has sex with me. So yeah, $100 isn't cutting it.
We're not recommending that anybody offers to have sex with Dave to get him to shave his beard, because he's a married man and his kids will not be happy about that.
Yeah. Well, and it didn't work.
Yeah, so, that is also true. Yeah.
So Ben Canavari, what gives you guys the most satisfaction when you play?
Well, there's a couple
driving my players before me.
Hearing the lamentation of their followers.
Yeah.
Of their followers.
I would say for me, when I especially when I do an online game, when something is just so bizarre, funny, or just kind of everything kind of timing works out, and everybody just starts laughing about it, and we just take a good 20 seconds at least and just start laughing about a crazy situation like the Death Donkey or some kind of ridiculous, heinous one in a bad spot.
Death Donkey. I took a picture with a Death Donkey when I was in. Where was I? No, I wasn't in Cozumel. I was in Cancun. I was in Cancun from the fantasy trip. We went to a restaurant. They had a bunch of knockoff Shrek donkeys, but one of them had this big hand cannon. Yeah. So I had to get my picture with them. I'm like, it's the Death Donkey.
Nice. So for me, as far as back to the question, so who asked that question?
That was Ben Canavari.
So for me, it's when you have those moments of role playing, I don't think you can constantly be immersed in the game the entire time. It's pretty much impossible unless you're some master actor or whatever. Even actors aren't in character the whole movie. They're in character for scenes that get put together that creates a movie that gives the illusion of being that character.
And if you are an actor that does do that, the other actors tend to make fun of you.
Yeah. He's so method. But anyway, I'm going to finish my thought. Basically, I like when people can riff. When you get some things going back and forth where people are riffing and everybody's in character for that solid maybe 5 minutes, and that's the most fantastic moment at the table.
For me personally, I just enjoy if everybody's having fun and everybody's into the game. There's lots of times that side chatter happens and that people get pulled out, and Ryan talked about immersion. And when you get unimmersed, it takes you out, and people tend to be like, oh, well, I'm just sitting here around a table or around a computer, and we're just playing a game. But when you're really into the story and into what's going on, that's when I have the most fun. As a DM, I want to tell a good story. I want everybody to have fun. And if everybody's doing that, cool.
So for me, I really have to answer your question with the question. When in my life are you talking about? Because there was early on in my life where D&D was kind of life, and like we met every Saturday, and if you didn't show up, you were the biggest piece of shit on the planet, and our group was brutal. We would mercilessly tease you to no end and break your balls if you did not show up to the group. Nate can attest to this.
Yeah, I recall this.
He dreaded if he got sick or something or had something else going on.
He was more reticent to call from D&D than he was to call out the word.
Yeah, yeah. And we would get together.
I'll say yeah to that. Yeah.
We would get together from 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and game until easily 3 to 6 in the morning. And at that time I did most of the GMing, and it was all about like hardcore storytelling and role playing. And then like there's a time when that group kind of like fizzled, and we weren't getting together as regularly. And really, it was just like, all right, I want to. D&D is the thing that happens when I get together with the guys, So there is that, and I think like nowadays I'm somewhere in between that. I'm far less of an asshole about it, and I just really want to. I want to hang out with my friends and do something fun that we all enjoy. So for me, I like right now. I would say it's really about the camaraderie, and D&D kind of happens when we do it, and we've got a good solid group going. Several. And those groups function differently too. Like if you guys are watching our gameplays, you see that. Where the game that I run, we have Nicole and Anthony, and they tend to be a little more chuckle fuckery.
Beer and pretzels. Let's call it beer and pretzels, or chuckle fuckery. Yeah. And
then Ted's game is a lot more serious, and then Scott's game is a bit more serious too. And they all have their place.
I would say Scott's is a little bit more mechanical. Because Scott
gamist, he's very
he
gamist.
Likes to get into the rule sets, whereas with my game, it's more about the story and the role play.
Every time him or Mike Ravinsky, and I guess Mike got it from playing in his games. I think Kurt might do it as well. They do this thing where they go player question. But when they let you know that they want to ask the DM a question and it's not from their character, it's from the player. I get this like big old Kool-Aid smile on my face because I just think it's hilarious.
Well, Kurt actually he developed a whole strategy with his thing is he gives every character a voice that is distinctive from his own. So when he's talking regular, okay, well I know that's Kurt asking the question. What if he talks with his accent? Then I know it's Henri who wants to know something.
So you're saying that Kurt does not have an outrageous French accent?
No, he does not.
Yeah. And which is great, but I would never be able to pull that off.
I slip out too much. Like for an NPC in short bursts, I can do voices.
All my character voices would be the same anyway, so it wouldn't matter. They'd all sound vaguely like the blacksmith from Diablo.
Well, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
So one of the things I do find the hardest when you do hit upon a character voice is hitting that same exact character voice. Like we play the same campaigns like once a month. So sometimes I'm like, all right, I kind of have it, but I really need to like actually basically go back and listen to early sessions before I play or something like that. Yep. So I get it right. Because like Falcor is kind of like I was imagining like a more boring Sean Connery voice, so it's hard to like.
So there's sometimes that you hit it, and sometimes you're like, yeah,
I'm trying, but this is not the right voice. So yeah,
how did this happen?
I was not being method. I wasn't carrying around a wizard staff.
So, do dwarven women in our world have beards?
We haven't discussed it yet. It's always been such a fun topic. In AD&D, they always had beards, right? And then even in Lord of the Rings, they reference beards on women as well. So I don't know. I don't think we've really decided yet.
I think I'm anti because it's it's a certain
sort of thumbs down for dwarven women beards, but it's just.
It's like a sort of like it feels like a zany affectation that I don't want in a world. Like I want it to be a little more normalized in that regard.
Our dwarven women are completely bald. They cannot grow a single follicle of hair.
Long ago, someone crushed the dwarven race.
Like a
stuck with all the hair.
Like a Hera sort of situation.
They're all mules. That's a Darkstone reference for you guys that
Indeed.
are not familiar.
Just not sterile though.
Oh, my man, Christopher Calvary in the house. Calvary
Chris.
has arrived.
Hey, the cavalry is here.
Love that last name. It never gets old.
Hey, Chris, check your email.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what that's about.
Oh, wait
no,
a
Line
minute.
of the Nag.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right.
What do you guys think, man? Female dwarves, beards or no beards? Let's hear what you guys think about it. Half orcs, half elves, half dwarves. Would you do them, and does it make sense? Well, half orcs and half elves, half elves and half orcs already exist in the game. So, I see what you're saying.
With the dwarf, maybe.
Yeah. Why not a half dwarves?
The 12.
What about half-halflings? They're quarterlings.
Yeah.
Well, again, Darkstone did basically do the half dwarf, and I see no reason why you couldn't do them. The question is, do you need to statistically, mechanically make that a race up for your game? And that would really depend on your campaign setting, how frequent it happens. If it's something that just happens now and again, I would just make a tall dwarf or a short human.
Yeah. But Darkstone is a great source of inspiration. The idea of that they basically made
They race into existence.
Well, I'm saying that like they took the real world thing of when a mule is born, like they're born sterile.
Mm.
So they did the same thing with the progeny of a human and a dwarf. They're like, well, because like once just the way their genetics work out that they can't procreate. And that's a pretty cool sort of taking real world sort of genealogy and mapping it onto fantasy races.
Yeah, and I've read somebody's discussion on I can't remember who right now, but they talked about how for the half elven as well, if you did that idea where they were kind of like a mix of race and that they couldn't actually like almost like a different subspecies almost like that couldn't develop like the mule.
Was that like Lindy Beige maybe? Lindy Beige did a video kind of dealing with that.
It's been a while, so I can't remember where I got it from, but I think it could be. Yeah. But I kind of like that idea because then you have there's a whole lot of psychological issues with having the drive to go forward and have a lineage and not actually being able to produce a lineage due to your own
plumbing.
Yeah.
Plumbing.
So there's a question for me from Nick. Let's see, Ghostbuster Cthulhu shirt. Yes, it is. And how would you bring Cthulhu into 5e? Okay, everyone roll a new character. You're dead.
Yeah. Basically, Grumpy Cat DM it.
Yeah,
the great old one has awakened. You are all dying terrible ways.
You know what? He's like an Uber Tarrasque. That's what kind of like Cthulhu would be. It's like if you take Cthulhu, to get Cthulhu, you have to combine a Kraken with a Tarrasque and an ancient dragon, and that would probably give you an approximation
of how powerful.
And then you need some like mind and madness attack sort of effects.
Yeah.
Like basically maybe look at like Demon Princes or Demon Lord capabilities. Like I think there's lots of stuff that played with madness and Out of the Abyss that you could map on some of those abilities, maybe supercharge them a little bit. But
now I'm intrigued. Now I kind of want to take the Tarrasque and ancient red, well, not necessarily red, but an ancient dragon and a Kraken and mash them together and see what I get.
Like maybe it could be a friend or foe where we D&D like we basically make Cthulhu. We're making Cthulhu like just for schnitz and giggles. This is the campaign ender essentially.
Nice.
And he's just like he's not destroyed. He's just banished.
Well, we have a lot of howling of Cthulhu going on. I don't know if that says something about the society we live in or what. Also, there was a lot of votes for beards on female dwarves. And Nicole also said, I think she said she does a lot of LARPing, where she's seen a lot of really great beards.
Luxurious beards.
Yes.
I like the suggestion on where was it? That dwarven weavers don't have beards, but their hair is magnificent, and when they let it down or like show it off, like all the guy dwarves are like, that's a nice hair.
If only that was on my face.
Yeah. If that was on my face, I'd get all the women's.
Yeah. Let's see. Have you ever kicked a player out of your group? Sure. Who hasn't? We try not to, though. Really.
Yeah, they have to like really be egregious. I think is pretty.
We've had more instances of just people leaving, people's lethargy, or people just, all right, I'm done here.
And now, like, our group is kind of big, and gets unwieldy, especially since we record the games. I don't really like anything really above 7 players at the table. Well, one of them being the DM, just for filming as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, part is the fact that we film now. Like, it's got to be the people that we play have to be very considerate of that. So we kind of, we're less inclined to want to keep around people that aren't as considerate of it. Like, once these 2 campaigns wrap up, I'd like to do a very curated campaign. So once we have less games going on, then I can kick up the juices, because I have an idea for like a demons and like evil outsiders sort of noir-ish game.
Yeah, we also want to do some more interesting things with the camera. Like, we're thinking about like ways to run multiple cameras at the same time. I think someone else did it, but like through OBS you can get different camera feeds. So I was thinking if we could have like 3 or 4 cameras going, one on the DM, one on either side of the table.
Basically, kind of mimicking what the way that the paneling works for maybe a Critical Role or something like that goes. Doing like more intense setups of terrain and stuff like that, where we actually have a camera on the battle mat and things. Be pretty cool.
Someone said you guys must have tried making your own system by now. Why? It seems like the biggest waste of time. No, I would rather spend my time playing the game than reinventing the wheel personally.
Yeah, campaign settings are fantastic, and that's where I would like. Basically, writing the fiction of a world is where I'd rather spend the time than designing the rules that go along in that world. Because I've yet to hit upon something where I'm like, this is what I need to distinguish this game from other games. You guys?
I would agree. I think especially now, there's enough systems out there that you could easily just grab one, and if you have to, just like tweak it a little bit.
System bash.
Get bashing together. So
as we kind of did with Shadowrun meets Cypher System.
Yeah, I mean, now for 5th edition, I wrote up a whole bunch of stuff on psionics and psionic classes, but that was because they weren't going to get to it for a long time. I mean, they only got like 10 levels in Unearthed Arcana right now.
It's still not done.
Yeah, like there's so much tinkering you can do internal to a system that for me, it's not a big drive as of right now. Like, if I were to design something, it would actually be more of a card game or board game, I think, than a full RPG system. Just like that's the way my brain operates, and the ideas that I have right now, I would be most likely to do or make.
Yeah, and I believe we're all in that same ballpark. Until something inspires us to say, here's this unique mechanic or unique concept, I don't see a point in going out there and doing our own rule set.
For me, it's like, is something broken that needs to be fixed? Like, and does that fix require a whole system? That would be the impetus. Because there are people that said you should do your own system. I mean, Scott Garrity is like, you guys should build your own system. But
we've gotten it from a lot of people.
We're just not driven to do that right now. So someone asked about, Ed Fleming, have any of your players played half horse centaur, half bull minotaur, half spider, drider, etc.? Yes to 2 of those. We've not had any drider characters in any of our campaigns that I recall.
Yeah.
I got reincarnated into a centaur.
Did happen.
I've played minotaur characters before because Dragonlance.
Ditto. Yeah.
And so and there was also the Monstrous Humanoid Handbook, which had a lot of great stuff in it. So yeah,
Humanoid's Handbook was my favorite book of 2nd edition.
Yeah, when you're like 14 to 16, like all you want to play is monstrous characters. I've gotten to play Flynn, a Minotaur. I'm trying to think if there's any Thrycreen, which is fantastic.
Thrycreens were awesome, but I don't think they were actually in that particular book.
No, they were there, but there was a way to play them.
Thrycreens of Athos.
Yeah, exactly.
Was where that came from. But Bugbears I played in 3rd edition. In 2nd edition, there was actually, in that book, there were a ton of different stuff, but you could play an Ogre Magi. Mm-hmm. Like, the stats are right there, and I'm like, why would you not want to go that road?
Or an Alagi, which is basically like a Yeti-esque type of thing.
There was an Alagi, there was the Wemmick, which I know I played at least twice. Wemmick, which is the lion centaur.
Yeah. You can kind of taurize anything.
Absolutely.
You notice I noticed Nerdarchy crew doesn't include any women. We've had women in our games, and we're not. We don't have any objection to having women here.
We've had at least Carrie was in for a couple of videos.
Yeah, we actually have a playlist with her in it. She's in like 5 videos. Nicole plays in our games. Uh-huh. We've had Natalie in our online game, and there may be some more too that I'm not thinking of. But It's just the way. It's just the way the
I
dice
mean,
fall.
we have a couple fans that have managed to be in fan games as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we have Samantha writing on the website, and if there's any other lady gamers that would like to write, that would be pretty cool to have more presence on there.
Yeah, and if you are a lady gamer and you want to be on the website and write or show off or something like that, you're more than welcome. We're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah. So you were trying to run that campaign that fizzled, right?
Yeah, I couldn't get enough female players really to get it going.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is like all this stuff, like having campaigns, like it requires commitment, and we just haven't found the individuals that are have the time or whatever at this point in time able to commit to those things. So that's the same thing with like the Urban Underdark game. That campaign was really fun, but like it fizzled really quick when we were down 2 players.
Yeah,
So,
Well, we had like 6 or 7 sessions tops.
Not even.
It was like 4.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. That was fun. I had some ideas for where that was going, and unfortunately, like that's like the Nerdarchy history of gaming, right? Throughout the ages of Nerdarchy, well, pre-Nerdarchy, really, our gaming.
The Bronze Age.
Yeah, that always happens. Like games come and go. Right now, me and Ted are running probably the longest games that we've ever run, and that's like 2 years. Again, but the thing with that is we run once a month, so so it's stretched out.
But level wise, it's actually as high,
Catching up,
which is high as we've ever really done with a consistent campaign. Your game has had static players, whereas mine initially started off and it was just you, Ryan, and Mark, and it's flowed to up to 9 players, and down to consistently only 4 or 5. So like that's done the accordion thing for the entire time. I've got enough people that left that game
to have another game.
To have another gaming group. So
there's been requests for the "I Married a Gamer" video from the wives and girlfriends.
We've made jokes about it. I think most, if not all of them, have tantamount said, "No, I'm not going on camera."
There's that, and then you guys are gonna hear them complain about all the time Nerdarchy takes up.
Yeah.
It won't be the content. It won't be the content you were expecting, I'm sure.
It wouldn't be the content you wanted, but it'd be the content you deserve for asking such a thing.
Yeah.
We have Nicole Blount. By the way, just letting you guys know, I'm a newer watcher, drawn to your videos for DM tips, and I can say is a very large thank you, and that I'm now a daily watcher.
Sweet.
So thank you very much
Nicole.
for being on the live stream as well as commenting and watching our stuff.
Yeah, you're a 3%er. Maybe we need a 3%er T-shirt.
Yeah. No, by our statistics, about 3% of our viewership is female. So
yes.
So if any female gamers want to proselytize to help us expand the female demographic, that would be fantastic.
And he's not
this
saying
Nicole is not the same Nicole that's the Gobolo.
Correct.
Yeah, that is correct.
That was asked.
Indeedly doodly. I had a thought, but it fled my head.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, joking aside, I think my wife likes that I'm in Nerdarchy. She just would like it to take up a little less time, or for me to get more time elsewhere. So she told me to quit my job.
Yeah. So he's working on it.
I'm working on it,
folks.
Well, that might be worth mentioning as well.
Oh yeah.
We had brought it up not last week but the week before, and so here's the deal. Like Nate is a full-time dad, and he tends to the house and the kids during the day, and then when his wife was home from work, he then goes to his night job and goes to work. So him and his wife were discussing if he had more time, he could dedicate more time to Nerdarchy, as well as have more time for his family. So what Nate had proposed was running games for Nerdarchy, but these would be pay-to-play games where he's going to run campaigns, whether it's where the group either meets once a week, once a month, every other week, whatever. He'd probably have different ones going on, and I think the idea was to have multiple games a week, at least 2 going, and that would make up for the income that he'd be losing by quitting that job. But then he would be able to work more time on Nerdarchy, and he would be able to run games for you guys. Basically, you guys have sent us emails, so we've gotten a handful of those already. And if you guys are interested, you can, you can just put in the comments below, as well as, just email us and put that, gaming with Nate the Nerdarch, something along those lines in the subject.
It's nerdarchy@gmail.com for any kind of points of contact. as Dave says, put gaming with Nate as part of the subject, just so we can isolate those and pull them out for Nate, or he can easily see them.
Yeah, I'm collecting all the emails that I received so far. I'm collecting them together. I'm going to send out the email soon. So hopefully between the 2 weeks ago's batch and this batch, so people that are interested.
I was talking to the guys in my game last night, and some of them are interested, and they just kind of want to know details of like, well, how much. So
right,
yeah.
and that's also like the thing I think we're still like hammering out.
Right. So it's
I've got to figure all that out.
Yeah, we have to have our people contact me. The Nerdarchy people. He's got an agent.
We got people? When did we get people?
It's you, Ted. It's you. By the way.
Nate's agent also is you.
Yeah, you're a double agent.
Double agenting. You never win a double agent.
Hard Luck Hank is a series, and there's a race. I forget the name of it, but they're like this robotic race, and he literally ends up having those one is like his butler, but then it ends up being his agent for this other thing, and they literally have to negotiate with each other over different deals.
Nice.
Is it like a Gollum sort of situation?
They don't do it that way, but it could easily go that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's hilarious.
So we're
Some people wanted to know about our favorite things about the con.
That's a good thing. While there was a number of awesome things to go check out and look, honestly, for me, it was the people, getting to see some Nerdarchy fans, as well as meeting some new people. To me, I like that was the top.
It was overwhelming with the amount of stuff that was going on throughout the whole con experience, and it was really set up mainly like a Comic-Con. So you really have to be into the pop culture and comic books to get the full experience, which I enjoyed going and checking out those events to, like, as a outsider kind of looking on. I found them enjoyable. I like the costuming and the amount of effort that people put into it, and how some of the cosplayers actually, they kind of role played the role, which is really cool. Like
that fucking Spock.
Oh,
holy shit!
Yeah, I haven't put that picture up, but there's a Spock. He's about 8 foot tall, and like the facial expressions and everything he would make was amazing.
Everything was like understated with like every action he took. It was so good. Yeah,
the Harley Quinn we took a picture with, she was really good at mimicking the mannerisms of Harley Quinn. So there's definitely a lot of stuff like that. But we really did spend most of our time in a really small portion of the cruise, which was the game room.
The game room was kind of our hub.
I spent one entire day there. Other than going and getting meals or getting stuff from the room, I just stayed and played a bunch of board games, talked to a bunch of people. Like, I know that the winner of the cabinet we gave away, Matt and his brother, I spent like an hour or two just sitting there chatting with them, not playing a game, not doing anything, but just shooting shit.
The day that I wanted to do the most stuff was on Saturday,
which is when we were in Cozumel. And that was like, I don't know why they planned it that way. It seemed a little poor planning to me. But like the Stranger Thing panels, those were the things I really wanted to do. And I had promised my wife that we would go into Cozumel, into Mexico. She actually has a friend that lives there. So we actually went and hung out with them for the day and almost missed the boat coming back. We were literally the last people on the boat, and they pulled up anchor as soon as we got on. Yeah. Dave and his family showed up, and they're like, "Oh, hello, David. Hello, Stephanie."
Yeah.
Knew him.
We've been waiting for you guys. So we Cozumel is an island, which I didn't realize that until I got there and I was on this island. But we then took a ferry over to the mainland, and so we're doing our thing, and like her friend is kind of like dilly-dallying, ditzy kind of person, and like, we got plenty of time with her. So we get back to the ferry, and it's like 5 of 10, 10 of 10. And we went to the ferry we originally took, because they have a bunch of them running. And they're like, oh, the last one was at 9:45. The next one is at 11:30. And we're like, we need to be, it was either 11:30 or 11. But whatever it was like the time that we needed to actually be back on the boat.
Oh, that was 11:30.
Yeah, it was probably at 11:30. I'm like, that's not going to work, because it's a half hour to get there, and then you're in downtown Cozumel, and you have to get back to the pier where we're actually launched from. But they're like, hey, you can talk to those guys in the green shirts. And we did, and thankfully they had a boat at the dock getting ready to go. We just made that one. It was also the first night of the really rough water. And was it the first or the second night? Yeah, it was the first night of the really rough water, where they're like, we expect the waves to be like 10 to 20 feet. And it was like a roller coaster ride for like 30 minutes.
Oh, of the ferry.
Oh, on the ferry,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah. It wasn't bad at all on the ship. You hardly.
Oh yeah, I mean, you saw them down there, and like those are big waves because they're like 5 or 8 days.
But the ferry's like.
So now you can speak to those DC 10 to 15 dex checks or acrobatics check for holding your ground, holding your footing.
Absolutely.
For it. So to mimic you with hanging out with like fans and people we met there, Brian Stillman was awesome, and his henchman Tim, his main henchman Tim was a really cool dude. So hanging out with all those people was fantastic, but also just like the amount of gaming between actual D&D games and just like board games like code names is fan flippin-tastic.
There was a lot of code names: Splendor, Joking Hazard. I think that was the triumvirate.
Yeah,
so there's a Munchkin.
Yeah,
there was a Magic tournament which I partaked in.
Did you win? Did you crush your enemies? Did you
I crushed 50% of my enemies, and was crushed the other part.
Like a roach. Yeah, and then also, I'm not gonna lie, sexy babes and cosplay outfits. Yeah, that was.
And sexy dudes, don't forget sexy dudes.
Well, but unfortunately, I'm not gonna like. I appreciate the craft.
Yeah, like Ruby Rod was those.
Oh yeah,
there was a picture of that. So no, I respect the artisanry, but there's just no way that I'm looking at a guy in a cosplay outfit the same way I'm looking at a woman. So yeah, but no, like there was a fantastic Witcher cosplay, like that was to the nines, like so good. Again, that guy Spock, the Ruby Rod from Fifth Element, that was so much fun as well. Seeing that guy Ruby Rod also cosplayed as Piccolo.
Oh, nice.
He didn't go in green face, so a little disappointed. Buddy.
Nerdarchy needs to come to California. We actually want to do a lot more traveling. It's just a matter of getting it in. Let's see.
I'm going to point out the my negative experience on the cruise, and it's actually the after the cruise. They talk about you got to get your sea legs. Well, once you get back to land,
getting your land legs back.
Get your land legs back. Yeah. We got into port 8 o'clock ish on Monday morning, and by 9:30, we're off the boat, and I was fine for a little while. We drove for a good portion of the day, got to our friend's house in South Carolina, and that's when it really, really hit me.
Yeah, it's like your brain starts trying to compensate for nothing. So you're starting to like wobble.
What I found was like if I were to get up or turn or something, all of a sudden the world seems a little skewed. Like that was weird.
We're sitting there. We're introducing our friend's wife to. We're playing Codenames, right?
Blender, Codenames.
We're playing
Explode Names. They merged the two games. They've merged the two games.
My brain is doing this. And I'm like, oh God, I'm so disoriented. I laid down and I felt like the couch was just swaying in a rocking chair. And I'm like, oh God, make it stop. Just make it stop.
Little do they know that they spiked Ted's soda with acid. That's really the reason behind it. Oh, so how was your guys hanging out with Ty too? We should mention that you guys on your road trip got to meet up with Ty.
That was pretty awesome. We met up. We went out to lunch with Ty. Tuesday morning we left South Carolina. Trekked the 4 or 5 hours it took to meet up with where he was. He was cool enough that he actually traveled 2 hours so that he would be on point with us so that we weren't detoured from...
He triangulated, folks. He triangulated.
He's like, well, you're coming this direction, so you're going to be taking I-95. So if I just beeline this way...
I think the meeting was going to happen no matter what you guys had decided.
If he had to drive it behind us and shoot a grapple hook.
One of those like stagecoach robberies for the situation.
Yeah, but it was great. We spent about 3.5 hours with him. We did a few videos that will go up on the website at some point or go on the YouTube channel at some point in time.
Yeah, it was great knowing like somebody that's been influenced so much by Nerdarchy and how much they're influencing us now as the webmaster and
he's our website editor and he's creating the content for us and working with all of our writers, and he's got some really cool and interesting ideas of what he sees the future of Nerdarchy the website. And we pretty much I think have agreed to like give him full reign and let him do his thing because it's really good stuff and I would love to see it come to fruition. And he also actually used to do it for a living anyway.
Yes, and we actually
it's very helpful.
we talked about that as one of our videos. We did an intro into who Ty is, his history with gaming, as well as to kind of authenticate his ability to do the website. I was like, yeah, he's got a history.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to watch that video to unfurl that mystery.
Indeed.
I was thinking for first, I was thinking it's a video that we put up. Like, I remember that video. I touch all the videos. But,
it hasn't gone up.
Yeah, right now I have a folder full of just clips that have to be sorted. You know, the wonderful and awesomeness of having the new camera that shoots much better, films much better, and we have that clear, crisp video. Unfortunately, it always breaks up the videos in the files. So we'll shoot one video, and we'll get like 2 to 5 video clips from it.
So just reassemble the clips.
Yes. Fortunately, the way we do shoot it helps break things up. But Nate and Ted thought they would be funny when they shot these videos, and they shot in a different format. So now I'm literally gonna have to sort through them and figure out what goes where. It's just gonna be one long video.
Yeah, just blame me.
I'm throwing him under whatever I need to throw him under.
It's just gonna be one long video with Nate, Ted, and Ty. It's gonna be like 3 hours long.
This shit's gonna get Tarantino'd, where you don't really know the time sequence order of how things are happening. Or worse yet, Memento. It's gonna be like Memento. Like just like what connects to where and how.
With the cool camera, we got an interview with an Adventure League DM. We got 2 interviews with Brian Stillman, one of which is already up on the YouTube channel, as well as 3.
Well, we should mention what that interview entails. Is he's doing a documentary about sort of the history of the art of Dungeons and Dragons. It's entitled "Eye of the Beholder." What is it? The Art of Dungeons and Dragons is the subtitle.
Yep.
So that documentary is probably not going to drop until sometime in early to mid 2018, as far as things go, because he's amassing mountains of footage right now, and it's going to be very sad of how much has to go on the cutting room floor, as it were.
So he says don't hold him to any kind of date. It'll be done when it's done.
It'll be done when it's goddamn good and ready to be done.
We also did his Plastic Galaxies, which is going to go up, which is really cool.
I've not had a chance to sit down and watch that, but I should grab a link and throw it down below because it's
on Amazon Prime. So if you're a member, you can just watch it.
Yes, we're at it's on a bunch of places, really.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Chat. Let's see, killing amounts of damage. Do you guys have a day jobs? Unfortunately, we do.
Yes.
I don't know if you missed that part. We just mentioned it, like Nate wants to DM for you guys instead of go to his day job. And he needs you guys to pay for that in order for it to happen in the meantime.
Yeah, because there's really no more time left in my schedule, pretty much. Without cutting out a job or.
No, Michael. Nate has Nate's day job is a night job, and mine kind of happens the same way. Yeah. I'm in my off season now, so right now I'm actually not working. I get laid off every winter. I do road construction, and oddly enough, my day job generally happens at night as well.
I work for a book publishing company, and literally my office is right around the corner here because I work from home, which allows me a lot of freedom to do more stuff for Nerdarchy. I'm going to take a break and we're going to go film right here.
Yeah, you have a little more. He basically, Ted has a little bit of more control over his scheduling as far as that goes because of the work from home situation. So
Indeed,
that's really nice. I also have a full-time day job, so there we are. That answers that.
Yeah, and during the week when I'm working, when I work nights, it does allow me to forego sleep, so I can come here and shoot some videos with Ted to help help move Nerdarchy along. Twitch live streams would be cool as well on your game nights. That's something we've thought about. We just haven't gotten around to it yet.
And also too, like, I don't know, with this live streaming app, and we figure out OBS, like, we might just stay native to YouTube, because Twitch, like, other than having people subscribe to you, like, there isn't really a lot of functionality that it really does for you. And like, if we're already doing well on YouTube, we might just stay here, because there might not really be ever a reason. Like, the early people that broke out on Twitch for being early on Twitch, like, that makes a lot of sense. But now Twitch is becoming a crowded field, and, well, we may as well double down on YouTube.
So I'm not sure who you're asking, but did you and Ted go to high school together? If he's talking about me and Ted, then Ted should probably be insulted, because you just added a few years to him.
Well, Ted and I went to high school.
You guys did go to high school.
Yeah, I was a freshman and he was a senior.
Ted is actually my brother-in-law. I'm married to his sister. And Ryan is my youngest brother.
There was a span where we were kind of in the same school. At least I know Nate and I were. I don't know. I think you're a couple of years ahead of me.
So I would have been out before you got in.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's right. So Ryan, you would have been in school with me.
So we're about,
I remember
about,
passing in the hallway every once in the blue.
so we're about 75 in.
75 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ted's trying to kick you guys all out of his basement. He's had enough.
Move along. There's nothing to hear here.
We got videos to shoot, and
We
we
do
got a
have
game
a schedule to go with. Yes, that's true.
not to say goodbye to you guys. It's just it's just scheduling.
It'll
things
just
and-
be a standard.
It's not you. It's us. So with that, guys, until next time,
Stay nerdy.
Thanks for watching.
Close up extreme.
Mouth of Madness.
as Dave tries to find the mouse.